Hey guys, I've been meaning to share this video for a while now, but I've just been extremely busy and I just haven't been able to get to it yet. I feel really bad for not hurrying up and getting this video out, but like I said, I've just had a lot of things going on. So a few months ago, I made a video talking about my experience with niche website builders. I talked about how it wasn't going so well and the links that I was getting just weren't very good. I just wanted to let you know that since I made that video, niche website builders have refunded the money and they redid the entire service at the high quality that they hoped for from the beginning. I also want you to know that niche website builders did not reveal my website. I won't go too much into detail about that, but I will just say that I was lied to and they had nothing to do with that. Anyway, here's Mark and Adam talking more about what happened, their service, and what their quality control looks like in-house. These guys are amazing for doing this and making sure I was made whole after all of this mess. Their service is good and I would still recommend them after this, and I will be using them in the future. Anyways, here's the video.
Hello, Tortoise fans. Mark Miles and Adam Smith here from Niche Website Builders. Anthony has asked us to record a video regarding our link building criteria. So what checks do we put in place for every link that we place for our customers? You know, what are the checks we put in place to make sure that it's a good quality link, essentially. I mean, we had a bit of an unfortunate incident with Anthony. So we had a new employee start at the company with us who managed to completely bypass our link check criteria. So the stuff that we're going through here today managed to completely bypass that, and we don't treat anybody, whether they're on YouTube and have a channel or whether they're just a regular customer, we don't treat them any different. Like, we try to offer an awesome service to like every person who kind of signs up for our service. So we don't give them any special treatment. They just come in and we hope that we deliver everybody a really good service. And luckily, 99 times out of 100 that applies, and that's true. So we had a new employee, managed to bypass these, and honestly put out send him over some pretty tragic links for his site. So you know, there's no getting around it. They were bad. We've now put some stuff in place to make sure that doesn't happen again. Like, we've put some extra steps in the process, which means that just can't happen until the checks have taken. You know, links can't get placed or sent for review to our customers until those link checks have actually happened. So that's kind of a learning process for us. Because the other thing that's worth mentioning as well, sort of came around about at the same time, one of Anthony's viewers on his videos revealed his URL in his YouTube comments. He managed to delete it pretty quickly, luckily for him, because he doesn't want the site revealed. But I guess that guy was claiming that we had revealed the URL to him, who then revealed it to the comments on the YouTube channel, which just didn't happen. Like, we absolutely, practice complete discretion for our customers and like what URLs what sites we're working on for them. This guy or girl, clearly has some sort of agenda. So for whatever reason, they wanted to do that. But we've absolutely been through everything, and we categorically say that didn't happen. So onto like the core part of the video then. So Anthony really wants us to talk about our link building criteria and the things that we think about and we talk about doing for every single link. So I'm just going to kind of head through them. So we've got a 20-point kind of checklist that we go through here. So we have kind of slightly different checklists for whether it's our shotgun skyscraper link building campaign or whether it's our guest post and niche edits service. And also another kind of different list if it's our Haro service. But at the end of the day, like, a good link is a good link, and we kind of have all of these checks for that. But they're all kind of slightly different. But I'll just go through these 20, which kind of broadly covers most of what we look at. Any thoughts or questions on that, Adam?
No, I feel this is very much a you video, Mark.
It is a bit of a me video.
Here, so just to reiterate what you said, it's unfortunate with Anthony that happened, but this check's in place now. And I mean, and just to point out as well, that these are, as a company that's growing and expanding at the pace that we have, sometimes things like this, unfortunate things like this, do slip through. But we're learning, and we wouldn't have been able to build a business kind of to the size that we have. We've got about 170 employees now. We've done this over a space of 2.5 years. Like, we wouldn't have been able to do that unless we provided a really high quality service. I don't think have lots of repeat happy customers. So it's just unfortunate this happened, here, and we're here to address that and talk about the criteria. But like Mark said, 99% of our customers that come through have an awesome experience with us. So there's no way we would have been able to build a business around anything other than that. So yeah, I guess I don't know if that's adding to what you've said or just reiterating what you said. I don't know.
I mean, Anthony wanted us. I mean, we had a chat with Anthony about it. He wanted us. He found this interesting and wanted us to kind of put something together for him to share on his channel. Well, I would say as well, it's been a long time since this happened, and we've been trying to arrange like an interview style recording with Anthony, but unfortunately, due to his kind of day job and like our time zone differences, it just never worked out that we could kind of get together. And so a really long time was elapsed now, which wasn't the intention. It's just the way it is. And in the end, it was like, okay, let's just record a video and then and we'll take it from there. So let's go on to number one. I'm going to rattle through these. We've kind of gone through these in kind of more detail on our own channel, but we'll kind of go through these kind of pretty briefly just to kind of give you an idea. So the first thing we look for is traffic. Does the website have traffic? If the website doesn't have traffic, then Google doesn't favor that website for whatever reason. So we need to make sure that it has a minimum level of traffic. And that's different depending on which service we're using and what we predict the traffic is based on Ahrefs and SEMrush and those kind of tools. Obviously, that's not accurate. We know that they're probably underrepresenting the real data based on experience from looking at a lot of sites. We have a kind of a minimum number there that we kind of focus on.
And just on that point, with the guest post and you shared, you're able to actually select the kind of traffic level you want as well. So if one of your, if you were building links and your criteria is you needed to have at least 5,000 visitors per month according to Ahrefs, when you check out with a guest post and you shared it, you can literally select that as well. So if that is part of your own criteria and needs to be above a certain amount, then we're flexible. We fit into that too.
Yeah, so you want a minimum of 1,000 or a minimum of 3,000 or 5,000. Yeah, you can set that at the checkout, and the cost goes up incrementally because those links are just harder to get. Number two, ranking location. So we just make sure that most of the traffic that comes to the site is English-speaking countries. So generally, if it is a website that's targeting the US, ideally you want most of the traffic from the US, and that's kind of what we look out for. So at the very least, we make sure that it's English language countries that they're coming from. The reason for that is that it's just that context and that relevance. If it's the wrong kind of traffic, then we know we're not really interested in getting a link from that site. Contextual links. So when you're acquiring a link, you want to make sure the link is in the body of the content in a paragraph, ideally. That's what essentially what a contextual link is. So it wants to be natural and included within the flow of an article. What you don't want is a link in the footer or in the header or in like an author box or things like that. We just want it to be contextual and within the flow of the content.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cleared my throat.
You were going to say yep.
I cleared my throat. You thought I was going to say something there.
And then, want to make sure that the site is indexed, of course. Well, particularly the page that we're ranking on is indexed. We'll come back to the whole site being indexed in a minute, but this is one specific check for the article that you're getting the link from. Because if it's not indexed in Google, then you're going to get absolutely nothing for that link. So do follow links. We want to make sure that it's a do follow link. We only count the link or charge the link to our clients when it's a do follow link. We've recently launched a new service, which is a Haro service as well, so more digital PR. And we tend to pick up a bunch of no follow links included in the service but we don't include that we don't charge you for that link. So we'll, depending on the site that's giving us the link, sometimes it's just a no follow. And that's fine. You just get extra links for bonus because they do, if they're a good site, we still believe that they have some value. Even if they're no follow link. Metrics check. So we just go ahead and again, this is different for each kind of service. Niche edits and guest posts, we check the DR level. That's how we kind of price those types of links. So they're priced based on the DR. So we have to make sure that they're meeting that before we go ahead and get them. For Shotgun Skyscraper, it's a little bit different. We kind of take pretty much any link, as long as it's a good site and a good link, doesn't really matter what the DR is. That's the purpose of Shotgun. We'll take whatever we can. But you generally tend to get a good mix with the Shotgun Skyscraper service, I would say. Internal links. Does the page that we're getting a link from have internal linking or not? So basically, we just want to make sure that the page that we're getting the link from isn't orphaned, because it's probably not getting any link juice flowing to it from other parts of the site. So we just want to make sure that the link is the post that we're getting the link from isn't orphaned. It has some internal links to it. Links in versus links out ratio. We have a certain ratio of links. So we're checking at Ahrefs for the number of links coming into the site and the number of links going out the site. And we just make sure that the number of links going out is not way higher than the links coming in, because that would suggest that the site is a link farm or just selling a lot of links. We don't mind it on a low level scale, but if it's doing it a lot, that's the kind of footprint that Google will be able to pick up and observe quite easily. So we just want to avoid any site that's kind of got a really out of whack ratio of links in and links out. Anchor text, balanced anchor text, basically. So it's like we always talk about. If you listen to any of our live streams or videos, we're always talking about on our age domains, like, does it have a balanced anchor text? Is it mainly branded anchor text, or does the anchor text look unnatural? Again, we just want to make sure that kind of looks natural, essentially. Social media. Does the website have active working social media profiles? So this one's not an essential to pass as a link, but it's a nice to have. So if it does have active social media profiles, then that just gives it more credibility in the eyes of Google. Google will see that. Google will see it having that, and therefore give it some more credibility for that reason. So I say that's not absolutely essential, but definitely preferable. SSL, we want to make sure that the site has a certificate. Again, we don't absolutely, like, this is really highly preferred, but we don't absolutely commit to this has to be the case.
If it's a great website without an SSL, everything looks great. Otherwise, then
yeah, I mean, to be honest, there's very, very few that don't have SSL these days, so we don't really come across that much, to be honest. But it's a check we have there. Nonetheless, relevance, we want to make sure that where we're getting the link from has some relevance to the site that we're getting the link for. So what I'll say is that there's definitely differences of opinion as to what level the relevance should be in this. And we have to be kind of flexible as well, because if you're in a very, very narrow niche, like I don't know, toilet brushes, getting links only from toilet brush sites is going to be really difficult. So we probably have to talk about more cleaning in general kind of sites or whatever. We talk about the different types of relevance being domain level, page level, or sentence level, and we're quite happy with sentence level for the most part in terms of our links. So the best of all, of course, is if we get site level relevance. So the entire site is about what we're linking to for our client site. Second best is page level. If the article itself is about the topic that is relevant, then that's good. But if we can get a sentence level in there, then generally we're happy with that as well. We want a good mix. We don't want them all to be sentence level, but it's still okay if somebody's talking, I don't know, about sport in general and healthy activities or whatever, and then they mention golf as being a good healthy activity, and we're linking to a golf site, then we're happy to have a link from that page, which wasn't just about golf, but it has a reference to golf. Trigger words, essentially this one is things like, we don't want to see things like right for us, guest post, contributor post, sponsored posts, anything like that on the page from where we're getting the link from. So, and that's key to say the page. We're quite happy for the site to have a right for us page, as long as the right for us anchor text and text basically is on that page. So if you see a lot of even genuine news sites, they will have a right for us page on there, which is inviting journalists or inviting writers to write articles for them. They're a totally genuine site. Like a lot of sites will have that. But what we don't want to see is having that like in the header or in the footer, or even just on the sidebar, maybe wherever we're getting the link, we just don't want those trigger words to appear. And in fact, Matt Diggerty did a test on this with Rick Lomas. If you don't know Rick, he does audits and does link detoxes, basically. So if you've got like a lot of bad backlinks to your site, then he will help you get them removed. And so he did some work with Matt on that. And what they came to find was that these links were considered toxic if they had the trigger words on the page, but actually if they didn't have the trigger words on the page, but it had somewhere else on the site, then that was kind of fine. So we kind of follow that lead, I guess, on that one. So Wayback Machine, if you watch any of our videos on H domains, you'll hear us talking about Wayback Machine all the time. We want to just check the history of the site. Has the site been something that we want to avoid being connected with, like historically? So was it a gambling site? Was it a porn site? Did it have payday loans or something like that? Was it something else in its past, or does it have any kind of something in its history that we just don't want to be associated? We don't want to get a link from. We wouldn't, maybe the links changed, the site's changed today, but like we've got to think about what was the site in the past, and we don't want to be getting a link from what it looked like in the past either, because it still might have something holding it back within Google. Google might have flagged it in some way historically as being a domain just to devalue somewhat. So we just kind of avoid that. Traffic trends. But I should let you do one of these, Adam. Traffic trends.
I'll talk about traffic trends if you want. Yeah.
Go on.
So, basically, has the website taken any kind of big dip in traffic recently? Has it stayed steady over the course of time? Are there large fluctuations? We don't really want to get a link ideally from a site that's had a massive drop recently. Clearly, it's fallen out of love with Google somewhere, and we don't really want to be building links there. So for us, when we look at the traffic trends, we want to make sure that it's steady or growing. It's not all over the place. It's not massive downs, that kind of stuff. Just make sure it's steady, really.
Yeah. So we don't want to see like going up and down over long at any point in time, really. We just want to see it nice and steady. Okay. Do you want this one?
I'll do this one as well. Yeah, why not? So this one's, it kind of does. It is what it says on the tin, right? When you look at the anchor text of the website in Ahrefs, you don't want to see any kind of gambling sites in there, or gambling terms, or free jerseys, or anything to do with porn or anything like that. You just want to make sure that it looks like a legitimate anchor text without sounding like a parrot. Mark has mentioned that we've done a ton of live streams where we talk about how we vet specifically age domains, but that vetting process can apply to anything. And there's plenty of examples that we look at live sites and have a look at the anchor text and show what a good anchor text is and what a bad anchor text is. So just making sure there's nothing bad in there. Site
devaluation. So this one is, how many pages are on the site versus how many pages have been indexed in Google. So we use a tool again like Ahrefs to see, we use a tool like Ahrefs to see how many pages are actually listed within Ahrefs, but then we go to Google and see how many are actually indexed. If too many are not indexed, then this is a sign that Google isn't particularly a fan of this site. It doesn't come very often to go and index the page. It's not trying to index it, rank it. It's a site that's essentially been devalued, so that's the one to avoid as well. Blacklist check. Do you want to go for this one?
Yeah, I should probably also mention as well that this list is always evolving as well. So it's not a static list. We're always adding more and more checks. This blacklist check is more of a recent one in the last couple of months. And essentially, there's plenty of websites out there that allow, I think they scrape kind of lists. You see these lists that come around for sale, or, wherever you can buy a guest post on niche edit and the site is really spammy. People are basically compiling these lists, and you can go and you can check like the website you want to build a link on against this blacklist checker. And it's kind of like a nice, almost like a filtering mechanism. You put it through the blacklist check first. Does it come out that it's blacklisted? If it does, then really you can kind of scrap it off straight away. You should probably still look at the other stuff to just double check if it doesn't meet the criteria, but really it's a really quick way of filtering. So we've added this into the process in the last couple of months. It just allows us to speed up the process and cut out a big chunk of sites without having to do this 20-step process and come to the same conclusion that it's not a great site.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we do still go through the list of the others, because it's not a definitive list or anything, but it's a good one. I think they even compile things. If people have been sending around emails, you get loads of emails, people saying, do you want a guest post? Like if you get kind of blacklisted for that kind of behavior as well. So it's good. Actually, it's quite stringent in that way, but like I say, it's not definitive. But it's still a good check. Undesirable content. So we want to make sure that the site that we're getting a link from doesn't have content we wouldn't want to be associated with. So does it have casino-based content? Does it have porn-related or whatever related content that we just want to, those kind of niches that we just want to stay away from, that we don't want to be getting a link from. This one is really quite hard to spot, because it could have 1,000 posts on that site and there's a handful that are ones that you would want to avoid. It's quite hard to track that down. It's not always easy to get that one absolutely right, but we do a certain level of checking to keywords and stuff to make sure that certain sites don't have undesirable content on them that we're getting the link from. Last one but not least is the sniff test. So all of the checks we've talked about so far are pretty mechanical, but they're almost data backed. This is kind of like the human test at the end. So regardless, does it pass all its metrics already? But when we look at it as a human, do we say, you know what? No, this site just isn't good quality. There's something clearly off about this site. Like we just don't, and this is subjective, right? So this just becomes through experience. But like, is this? Would we want to get a link from this site genuinely if we saw it, regardless of the fact whether it passed all the other metrics or not? And that's kind of the sniff test. That's kind of more of the human intervention at that point.
Yeah, it's a good roundup. That's our 20-point checklist.
That is our 20-point checklist. Was there anything else we wanted to cover? I don't think there was. I mean, I think we're there. Yeah, thanks to Anthony for letting us come on his channel and put this together. Hopefully it was of value to the audience. Happy to kind of answer any questions. If you've got any of this, you can always find us over on nichewebsite.builders. Hit us up in the chat there or drop us a message through the contact form. And we're happy to follow up with any questions you might have.
And if you're interested in kind of learning about, we've referenced a couple of times, we delve into, we go a bit deeper on some of these topics on some of our other videos. Have a look at our YouTube channel. We live stream 3 times a week. So, we'll cover these topics in detail. And if you want us to cover anything else that's in detail, just let us know there and we'll try and make a video on that too.
Yeah, so just search YouTube for Niche Website Builders. You'll find us pop up on there. There's also a page for a podcast page on our site where you can go and get the YouTube URL as well. That's it. All right. Thanks for that, Adam.
Awesome.
Thanks, Anthony, again, and catch you later.
Bye.
Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Will you guys be using niche website builders in the future? And yeah, just give me your thoughts and opinions. And now I'll just leave a YouTube recommended video right here. Check that one out next. It should be one that you will enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.